So, the topic I was asked to speak about is how my Nordic beliefs tie in to also being an atheist pagan. Well, there's a couple answers for that, really. It started off, honestly enough, as a way to explain my newfound beliefs to my family. So you have to understand, first of all, I'm a former seminary student. I actually dropped out of seminary school. Seminary, if you don't know, is literally postgraduate college for pastors. That's where you go to get your pastoral doctorate to preach in most churches. I dropped out of seminary school, not originally out of faith issues. My original reasoning for dropping out of seminary school was, you have to understand, when it comes to things like belief and thoughts and morals and so on and so forth, I am a huge proponent of consistency. I feel if you're not consistent in your beliefs, why do you believe them? Okay? And I had a problem with something I'd noticed in popular Christianity. And what I mean by popular Christianity is today, modern Christianity. Because in terms of the church, and this can be used to define several popular religions, but you can break down the church into two parts: historical and popular. Historical was the original beliefs, popular is today's beliefs, okay? So, popular Christianity, not consistent with their beliefs. Never have been, never will be. That was a problem for me, and I realized, given that problem, I knew I would end up yelling at people, especially a congregation. And I doubt there is a congregation out there who would appreciate their pastor referring to them as dumb, motherfucking spoon-fed sheep. So, I dropped out of seminary. In doing so, I started re-questioning my own beliefs. Where did my beliefs lie? Did I still believe in God or a higher power? Did I even believe in the doctrine of the Judeo-Christian church? And as my beliefs wavered away from the church, I realized I had become more agnostic than anything else. And at the time, in my family, coming out as gay was less dangerous than coming out as an atheist. And I'm not saying I would have gotten, beat or killed, nothing like that, but there would have been strong sociological consequences in my family at the time. So I started making jokes about religion and using other things to explain my belief system. And I was still am a huge fan of comic books. And so I just randomly was drawn to the Norse because of Thor, Odin, and all of them. Now, I'd always been a fan of Norse mythology. I didn't just randomly boop, I'm going to be a Viking today. I've always been a fan of the mythology, both in actual lore and in the Marvel Universe. So I knew a lot about it, so I started using that. Like, oh, yes, I'm a Santru now. When in reality it's more agnosticism, atheism, but it was just easier to say that and explain that than it was to explain that I was agnostic or atheist. And I'm the kind of person, I don't like to half-ass anything. I either give it my full ass or no ass at all. So if I'm going to use Isantru, which is the Brotherhood of Odin, the religion of Odin, if I was going to use the Santru as a way of projecting belief, I was going to know about it, study it, because I knew my sister keeps me on my toes. I love her to death. She is a Christian, one of the few Christians I still respect. I knew she would try to trip me up. Not in like a hurtful or harmful way, but just to make sure I wasn't just talking out of my ass. So I started researching Nordic beliefs. And I realized the more I researched, the more my own morality fell directly into line with the Norse beliefs. And I was already dealing with the fact that even though I didn't necessarily believe in the Judeo-Christian God, I wasn't a true atheist because I believed in some metaphysical things. I believe in energies. I believe in the power of positive thought, and by extension, the power of prayer. I can't quantify these things, but I believe them. And so I realized that while I'm not a true atheist by the definition, my beliefs did sort of fall in line with the Nordic beliefs and so on and so forth. So, I started dabbling a little bit into Wiccan, a little bit into the Gaelic cultures as well. But no matter where I went, I found myself drawn to who I called the Learned Wanderer. And this idea of the wise, learned old man just traveling time, I always pictured it in my head without being able to put a word to it. And then I realized it was Odin. The concept of Odin, of the learned, wise, patriarch or deity is in almost every culture, almost every pantheon, if it were. So, because you have, of course, the Norse, Odin, Germanic, Woden. I wouldn't really call Zeus a wise old man. Horny old man, sure, but wise? Not so much. But our vestige of Santa Claus stems from Nordic belief. Our view, the modern view of what God, quote unquote, is supposed to look like, comes from Nordic belief. So I noticed that my beliefs, whether I learned them or not, closely mirrored the Nordic beliefs, so I started just really going at it. Then I found out, recently actually, about 2 weeks ago, that there is a lot of Nordic DNA in our ancestry. My aunt, who is really big on ancestral investigations and whatnot and so forth, she did one of those blood tests or DNA tests to find out where or what culture or what, backgrounds are in your DNA. And, there were the obvious ones we already knew about: Irish, Scottish, Welsh. What can I say? We're Celtic bastards. But the one that surprised me was Nordic. We have a lot of Nordic DNA in our ancestry. And it dawned on me that it wasn't just a coincidence that I was being pulled toward Nordic belief. It's in my blood. Literally, in my blood. Odin called to me through my blood. And I have heard my All-Father's call. So, I don't know. So I have those Nordic symbols all over, whether it's in my necklaces, the symbol of protection, whether it's the triple triangle, which is Odin's actual symbol, even every once in a while, the wife and I will do henna tattoos on each other, where I will paint Wiccan symbols on her, she'll paint Nordic symbols on me, and we'll just feel better about ourselves. In fact, my main ring, my ring of power, and I'll take a picture of it. It is the perfect culmination of me and my wife, because I don't know, you may have seen it in some of the pictures. The main symbol is the pentacle, and on the sides of the ring are Gaelic knots. But in a circle surrounding the pentacle are Nordic runes. And it's the perfect culmination of my wife and I, which is why it's my ring of power, which is why it's on my pointer finger. Because my pointer finger on my left hand is my finger of power. So my ring of power is on my finger of power. Because I believe any of my energies are dispelled through that. That's where I dispel my energies when I do work with energies and whatnot. But I've noticed in my life personally that the Norse belief of honor and valor has helped me deal with a lot of things I don't think Christianity could have helped me deal with. The death of my son, the death of my brother, the death of my father. These are all things Christianity could not help me deal with. All I would get from Christianity is God works in mysterious ways. They're in a better place. Everything happens for a reason. And all of those things are complete and total bullshit. I hate those phrases. They're trite. They're absolute shit. Okay? But you take those same situations through the lens of Norse belief, Nordic belief, the belief of Odin and Thor, and Faki and Gedi and Hunin and Mugen, and you realize, I realize that while my son died, and my brother died, and my father died, they all died fighting something. They all died in battle. Whether it's the battle of illness or the battle of mortality itself. These three men, and I count my son as a man, these three men died in battle. They died with honor. And all three of them have a place in Valhalla, drinking with Odin and singing the songs. The Valkyries took them and placed them on the table, at the table of honor with my Allfather Odin. And I believe that fully and passionately. And that has gotten me through a lot more than Christianity ever could.